There are a total of 3 needle upgrades that can be obtained in Acts 1 and 2 of Hollow Knight Silksong. We'll be covering when and how we can get all 3 of those in this guide. As usual, useful timestamps can be found in the video description. For the first upgrade, you will need to unlock 4 major traversal upgrades in the following order: Silk Spear, Swift Step, Drifter's Cloak, and finally, Cling Grip. Once you have all 4 of those, you should be able to reach the Widow above Bellheart. My previous guide, which I will link down near the bottom of this video's description, covers how to get all of these items and even shows where to go to defeat the Widow boss. It is quite the journey. In any case, defeating Widow will free the cursed bugs of Bellheart, allowing them to provide several services. One of these bugs, Pinmaster Pliny, can be found near the top of Bellheart. He will be so grateful that you freed him from the curse that he will offer to sharpen your needle once at no cost. In order to upgrade the needle further, you will need to progress into Act 2 of the game, as the material required for the next upgrade is found in an Act 2 region. Before getting the next 2 upgrades for our needle, it's best if we get all Act 2 traversal abilities. I'll leave a link to a guide for that near the bottom of this video's description. For the first of these 2 Act 2 upgrades, we'll start at Songclave near the first Shrine Ventrica fast travel station, then move up and to the west. In order to get this pale oil, we will first need to defeat the Cogwork Dancers boss, but if you follow my guide on how to unlock the Architect Crest, I find it to make a great build for dealing with them. Overall though, I consider the Dancers to be far easier than several of the challenges that must be overcome to complete the Great Taste of Pharloom quest and get that pale oil. In any case, after defeating the Cogwork Dancers, we will need to interact with the center console in the chamber, then go through some dialogue. Following this, we can head down the hole that opens to either side of us, then move into the room to the west. There, we'll find a convenient bench to rest at, and on the level above, a free map for the Cogwork core region of the Citadel. Moving out from here, we will need to drop down into the east past several Cogwork bugs. After reaching a low point, we will then need to platform our way up and to the east. There should be a shortcut gate that we can open to the west as we go up, and from there we will move through the door that is up and east. We will then go east through one last chamber to exit the Cogwork core. Hitting the lever in the next chamber will rotate the wheel passage so that we can move through it horizontally, taking us to the Whispering Vaults. There are several boxes throughout this area that can be moved along rails, and we will hit one of these to the west, then wall jump up to an arena. Several waves of enemies must be defeated here, and I'm not sure why, but I had a tough time with this. In any case, once all enemies are defeated, we can move down and east, officially entering the Whispering Vaults. Just beyond a scroll reader, we can hit a drop-down ladder in the top east corner of the room. This opens a path up to where we can purchase the Whispering Vaults map, as well as a shortcut back to the Songclave bench, which we should rest at before going back to the vaults. Heading back down into the Whispering Vaults, we will move down and in a zigzag pattern until reaching the bottom level, then head out the bottom west exit. There is a flea that can be rescued in this next chamber, but for our purposes, we will just go up one level and move out the west exit. This next chamber contains a small puzzle. To start, we will hit the first box we see to the east, and then move west and hit a second box in that direction. Up one level, we can hit a box to the east, and this will allow us to wall climb up between several boxes and hit the box above us up. Going up this newly opened path to get on top of all the boxes, we can hit another box west, then hit one of the boxes beneath us down. We'll hit another box west, then hit that same box up, which will reveal a narrow passage. This will lead to an otherwise inaccessible chamber of a nail master where the pale oil is waiting. We can open up the shortcut here to quickly get to the Grand Bellway station, which we can then take to Bellheart. There, Pinmaster Pliny will upgrade our needle at no cost if this is the first pale oil that we are bringing him. The final Act 2 needle upgrade will require the completion of a very long quest, the Great Feast of Pharloom. With that covered, we can start by finding the quest giver, Loyal Mergwin. The nearest fast travel point is the Ventrica station for High Halls, but we can also reach Mergwin pretty easily by going up and west of Songclave, so long as we are willing to defeat the Cogwork Dancers boss along the way. In any case, we will need to drop down through a series of holes, then down a tall vertical chamber to reach the banquet hall area in Coral Chambers. At the eastmost side, we'll find a pale oil sitting in a display case. Attacking it will prompt Mergwin to jump out and speak with us. We can speak with him a few times to begin the Great Taste of Pharloom wish or side quest. Now, I'll mention it later, but before we leave, we should make sure that we open the shortcut at the west end of the banquet hall, the one leading down. We should also make sure to open the shortcut that is directly outside the west exit of the banquet hall, the one near the choir elder, as this will be essential for completing the last step of our great quest. The first item we will collect is the Mossberry stew. We can reach the Moss Druid NPC pretty easily from the Shellwood Bellway. I haven't confirmed if we need to complete the berry picking wish or quest beforehand to get the stew, but it's super easy. We'll just need to collect 3 moss berries and bring them to the druid. There are 2 in the starter area, Moss Grotto, and then a third can be found in a secret chamber just beneath where the moss druid resides. Completing the Great Taste of Pharloom also requires completion of 2 other quests or wishes, those being the My Missing Courier and the My Missing Brother quests. If you've already completed the My Missing Courier quest, you can skip ahead. Otherwise, we will first need to unlock the gate that is west of the Shellwood Bellway station, and I'll show the path I took to get there, starting from Bellheart. After unlocking the shortcut near the Shellwood Bellway and nearby bench, we can then move west from there until reaching a large stony cavern with a gap at the center. Dropping down along the west wall, we should eventually find our lost courier being accosted by 2 Caranids. After defeating them, we can speak with Tip to complete the My Missing Courier wish. Once that is done, we should be able to return to Bellheart and inspect the quest board to get the My Missing Brother wish. We'll complete this in due time while we are collecting one of the other items for our greater quest. This next part will be to unlock the shortcut lift that is next to the halfway home in Greymoor. If you've already done that, you can skip ahead to the Vintage Nectar part of the guide. Now let's get the Vintage Nectar. We'll need to make our way to the halfway home in Greymoor and speak with Craig. After forking over several hundred rosaries, we will be given the privilege of entering the cellar, where we will have to get past several mites, interact with the Vintage Nectar, then fight for our lives against a horde of scars. To get the Vintage Nectar, we'll need to battle our way back up to the top of the cellar, defeating all scars along the way. This will then prompt a second wave of scars to emerge, and we will then need to defeat all of those on our way back down to the bottom of the cellar. This is where you get to see me give a somewhat mediocre performance, though I do pull off some neat railgun eliminations at the end, especially against that Scar Guard mini-boss. Once we've gotten the Vintage Nectar, we can leave the cellar and rest at the halfway home bench. This next part will involve unlocking the first bench in Sinner's Road and also completing the My Missing Brother quest. If you have already done those, you can skip ahead to the Pickled Muckmaggot chapter. In any case, we will start from the halfway home, then take the lift that we unlocked earlier outside the west exit. We'll then move up and east until entering Sinner's Road. We'll then need to make our way east to the chamber with the bench sign in it. Going up a couple of levels and out the east exit, we will enter a large chamber with several roach catcher and roach feeder enemies. On the upper west side of this chamber is the Missing Brother Courier Pill. We can defeat the enemy's attacking pill, then speak with him to complete the My Missing Brother quest. Before moving on to get the Muckmaggot, we should go out the nearby exit west, then into the west chamber from there, where we can rest at a bench to serve as a checkpoint. Also, for anyone that has not unlocked this bench yet, I'll show the platforming section that must be completed in order to unlock it. From this bench in Sinner's Road, we will move out to the east, then go down to the bottom floor and travel further east from there. Once we get past the muckroaches in this area, we can use double jump to access a pipe that will take us towards a boss chamber. Before going there, we should hit a lever to open the nearby shortcut, and I'll show the run back to this boss chamber, including the shortcut, as I certainly needed to make use of it. In any case, we can ring the dinner bell to start this boss battle. After defeating 2 roach servers, the true boss will emerge. Disgraced Chef Lugoli is probably one of the more difficult bosses that can be fought in Act 2. I found ranged tools to be a huge help here, as the main goal is to just out DPS her, defeating her before she defeats us, also dodging her butt slam attacks. I think her Muckmaggot balls can also be destroyed. Once we've defeated the chef, we can grab the Pickled Muckmaggot and get out of there. The nearest fast travel point to our 4th ingredient, the Crustnut, is the Blasted Steps Bellway station. Skip ahead if you already have it unlocked, but I'll first show how to get there, starting from the Shellwood Bellway station. get the Crustnut, we'll need to make our way to a new region, the Sands of Karak, and we'll be unlocking the Needle Strike ability as a bonus along the way. From the Blasted Steps Bellway station, we'll need to move out east, then drop down into the west, following the sign with the needle icon on it. Before we can reach the Pinstress's hut, we'll need to defeat the Great Conchfly's boss. This ought to be a cakewalk when compared to Chef Lugoli. Moving west from the boss chamber, we can use our double jump to take an expedited path to the Pinstress hut. This will serve as the first checkpoint on our way to get the Crustnut, but while we're here, we can also speak to the Pinstress to unlock the Needle Strike ability or charged attack. While it's not absolutely required, equipping a crest like that of the Reaper or Wanderer, which have vertical down attacks, as well as the Ascendant Script tool, will both make getting the Crustnut much easier. To reach the Sands of Karak, we will need to exit the hut and clawline along the rings to the west. Following this platforming path will take us to the entrance of the new region. There's also a new platforming mechanic introduced in the Sands, temporary platforms. We can smack yellow seeds at specific points, which will allow tree branches to grow and provide temporary platforming sections for us to move along. Some can be landed on, while others will serve as spots to pogo off of. This part is optional, but while we are at the third one of these, we can briefly move up into the west to get a memory locket, then return east. We will need to keep moving east, and we should get used to performing the following combo, which is jump, clawline, double jump, and/or air dash, as it will be important for successfully performing several of the upcoming platforming sections. Dig deep when entering the next chamber, as we can unlock a really nice shortcut here if we survive just a bit longer. There is another path that we can unlock to the east, but for the purpose of this guide, we should instead move up and west to find Chakra and purchase the map for this area. Following that, we will exit out east and go up a short distance. Be careful not to jump into the large red spike above, but do hit and break it free. This will open a shortcut below, going to the Blasted Steps Bellway station. We ought to go there now and rest just to move our spawn point there, if nothing else. Once we've done that, we can move back up into the sands area, then go up the tall vertical shaft past where we found Chakra. There are some spike growths in the west wall just a bit further up, and we can break them to reveal a new area. This is the section where having Ascendant's Grip and the Reaper or Wanderer crest is really helpful, as we will need to clear multiple clusters of spike growths to reach the Crustnut, and several of them must be cleared with downward attacks or pogos. This is also where the jump claw line double jump combo is important for successfully getting past some of these platforming sections. Here, you can see I'm struggling to get the spike growth cluster above me, and that is mainly because I forgot to equip the Ascendant's Grip on my first time coming here. It will eventually result in me dying. You can watch ahead until I have it equipped to see how to tackle these spiked clusters that are above us a little more easily. For the most part, we will just keep moving west, destroying spiked growths where and when necessary to proceed. This is where I died from not having the Ascendant's Grip equipped. Fortunately, the spiked growths do not grow back once they've been destroyed, so it was not too difficult to get back here after equipping the Ascendant's Grip. With that tool, we can just cling indefinitely to the wall and use the dodge input to perform short vertical leaps up the walls. We'll get up nice and close, do a quick attack upward, then grip back to the wall, and rinse and repeat until the obstacle is cleared. We're almost there now with just one more platforming section and a couple more spiked clusters for us to clear, and we should be able to grab our Crustnut. The last item on our list is the Courier's Rasher, and we'll need to deliver it from the Courier Brothers in Belheart all the way up to Loyal Mergwin in the Citadel, and without fast travel. The Courier's Rasher also spoils or goes bad after about 5 minutes of time, and taking damage, long falls, or sprinting into walls will also damage and shorten its lifespan. So, to prepare, I recommend watching my full trip in advance. It is vital that we unlock the 2 shortcuts I mentioned earlier, the ones near Loyal Mergwin. Also, the path I take goes through where the mist section normally is, but I already cleared it, and it makes for probably the best courier route. If you want to see how to do just that, follow my guide for the secret path to the Citadel, which I will link near the bottom of this video's description. In any case, we will grab the Courier's Rasher, then move down and to the east into Greymoor. Watch out for the obstacle as we sprint through this next section, and make sure to jump over it, not into it. The same goes for after rising up the airstream, moving up and to the west. We'll then move up into the east, taking the fastest path available to the halfway home. I'll also say something like the Cogfly tool is really nice to have, as it will help clear enemies along the way. We can also rest at benches along our path to replenish them. From the halfway home, we will take the shortcut lift up and then move further up and east to reach Sinner's Road. The first bench in Sinner's Road is basically on the way to the exhaust organ, so we can stop at it to replenish our tools if needed, then keep moving up that tall vertical chamber. At the top, we'll need to move up and west, and we can make use of our double jump and our claw line to bypass most of the platforming challenge here. Just watch out for the Roach Keeper, in particular his screw attack, then jump to the top west corner of this room and break the wall there to proceed. Avoid falling into the spike pit as we move west and up. We can again use all of our traversals here to avoid most of the platforming challenge, then go up and east. This is where we would enter the mist area, but since we already cleared it, we'll just find the entrance to the exhaust organ. We'll then go all the way up the center of the organ, retracing the steps we previously took to reach the Phantom Boss. From there, we'll move further up and to the west, carefully making our way through a simple platforming section to reach the Grand Bellway. It's a good idea for us to rest here, then move out west. We'll need to go through the second passage up and west. Watch out for the choir flyer in the next chamber, which ruined my otherwise flawless run, and keep moving west through this long horizontal chamber. Emerging from there, we'll need to go one level up and west into the very next chamber we see. We'll then need to go up this vertical chamber through the first shortcut that we had the foresight to open, and east into the banquet hall. We'll then jump up through the second shortcut that we had the foresight to open, and sprint the rest of the way east to Loyal Mergwin. So long as we still have the courier's Rasher, we can speak with Loyal Mergwin to successfully deliver it, along with the 4 other ingredients that we collected. Keep speaking with Mergwin through a series of cutscenes to complete the Great Taste of Pharloom quest, then collect the Pale Oil. We can make our way out a nearby exit and shortcut to reach the Grand Bellway, then take a ride from there to Bellheart. Pinmaster Pliny will happily upgrade our needle for free if this is the first Pale Oil that we bring him for our second needle upgrade overall, but if it's the second Pale Oil that we're bringing, it will also require 450 rosaries to get this upgrade. It's well worth it though, as a needle that has been upgraded a total of 3 times packs some serious punch. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the comments where I will do my best to help. If you want to see more great content, you can head over to my channel, and if you're new, consider subscribing. You're helping me feed my cat. Her name's Marshmallow. Have a great day if you're here today, have a great Sunday, and a great week, and as always, thanks for watching.